Hello, in this video I'm going to show how to export our skull and bring it into Maya and render it out. So the first thing that we need to do is make sure that you are working in our project. So I am going to go to Maya and then I'm going to set my project. I'm going to set it in my table project. All right. I'm going to set it in my still life video project, actually. I'm going to set that. And then I am going to open my scene. And this should be the file with your table and your lights. So it's slowly opening. So then I am going to export or import my model here. So go to File and Import. So import your retopoed geometry of your skull. So not the high, but the retopoed version. And you'll see, let me turn this off, that it looks like something like this. So I'm going to group it by hitting Control G. And I'm just going to move it up. This is obviously too big. And then I'm going to put my pivot point to where I think the base is. So I'm going to hit D and then V and middle mouse to snap my pivot point there. And I'm going to rotate this so it's level. Let me go through this front side, put this so it's right on the top of it, and then I'm going to rotate it down so the teeth are touching. Like this. Okay. Put it up a bit. There we go. So something like this. Well, I think this needs to go to the base. Having it go into the ground a little bit kind of makes it feel more of a contact, but just be careful with that. Remember, you can hit the plus and minus here on your scale rotate, and the bigger it is, the more sensitive it is in rotation. So something like that might be good. And then I'm moving everything in my group, so you'll see the skull and teeth. And I'm just gonna rename this like skull underscore GRP for group. And I'm going to scale this down to be about the scale a skull would be for this table, for this scene. So something like this. So I'll just put it, this probably won't be the exact spot that I'm going to have it in the end. I'm just going to be placing it slightly in where I think it should be, something like this. And there we go. Now we need to go back to Substance Painter, and I am going to export this out. So export textures, and we're going to navigate to that project. So always put your textures in the source images, and I'm just gonna select the folder, and I'm gonna change this to AI. So AI or Arnold standard. So an Arnold AI standard, and PNG, and I'm gonna set the texture size to 4K. Keep that infinite dilate, and then all these seem fine. So you'll see that it's called skull underscore skull. You can change the template for this. So if you wanted to, you could go in here and remove, like you can right click this and say duplicate, and I'll rename this because I'm gonna change this so that I don't have to see the model name on it. So rename, name it like Arnold no mesh name. So that's a template, and then we're gonna go and delete everything that has the underscore mesh on it, because I don't think that's necessary. This makes my names long and hard to understand. So I'll keep the texture set, which is these two things will be skull and teeth. And yeah, so that looks good. So now you'll see I need to change this. So it'll be AI. I made a few of these already. I might have to save settings and then bring it open because I didn't seem to show it. So AI no mesh name, there it is. So now if I look at list exports, you'll see it's just the name of my texture set, then the actual texture name, and then I'm going to hit export, and this should export everything out. And I'll close that. Then I go back to Maya and make sure that you have the Substance plugin set up. So go to Settings and Preferences, Plugin Manager, search Substance and load them all up. And then I need to go over here to Apply Workflow to Maps. Make sure Arnold is selected, and I'm going to select, oops, wait, no, that's right. I just need to navigate to it. All right. And then find all your, so I'll do the skull first. So you select all the skull textures, and that looks right. And you shouldn't have ambient occlusion or emission on unless you have glowy parts on your skull. And hit apply. So this will create a material in your hypershade. And your hypershade, if you remember, is the place where you do your material edits and you view your material. 1 second, it's kind of freezing up on me. Okay, so I got rid of a lot of the menus that are up here. So if they don't show up, you can go up to Window, and let's look at Browser. That's what this is. So it should be up there by default. I am going to go over here. So it'll be named AI Standard. So this looks to be my skull, so I can right click over it and say Graph Network, and this will be my material. I need to change this to be Skull MTL. And before we continue, we'll probably need to adjust our displacement. If you remember from our table, we need to select this and hit this input and output to be shown so that you can see your displacement shader, and click on that and you'll see the scale. So we need to change this to a smaller number, so I'll try 0.01 or something like that and see what that looks like. So I'm gonna subtract that down and then select my skull, right click over it, and we're gonna say assign existing material, and then I'm gonna select the skull MTL. So now is a good time to check. So frame your stuff out. I always put this the mask up so that I can see what my frames are actually looking like. Get close to it, and let's render it out. Okay, so this is what it's looking like right now. Obviously I don't want gold teeth, even though it looks interesting. I'm going to turn it off and go do the same thing, then do the teeth. You might notice now I have these .tx files here. What these are, the first time you render it creates .tx files from, you might see that you have the skull, base color, and then a duplicate that has that .tx at the end. What this is doing is basically copying your texture in this format so that it can render faster. There's some benefits of using .tx. Just be aware that if you update your textures, you might need to go over to Arnold and let's see if we can find it. Utilities, go to the TX, or you can go and click the update TX files. If you exported your textures again or did any changes, you can go to this TX manager and you can remove them. So if there's any that you want to remove and then redo, then you can do that. But usually I just do like update, and that usually is good enough. So I'm going to select my things and I'll do the teeth. So I don't have the TX in there because I haven't done them yet. And hit apply. Let's open up this. So that created this AI graph here. And I'm going to go in and change the displacement. 0.01 I think. And I'll name this teeth. MTL for material. Select my teeth, right click over it, assign existing, and do teeth MTL. So now I can do my render. Let's see. And it usually takes a little longer because it's generating the those TX files at first. So I'll pause it and then I'll show you the final render. Okay, and it's finished, and you'll see that it's an okay job. There's some things I would change about this, like the thinness of the nose bone here. It's a little too thick, and having the connection of my teeth kind of go into the skull a bit better. I might even do some stuff for the inside, but for a quick kind of skull texture and sculpt, this is pretty good. I'm going to move on to the next kind of assets on this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.